Okay, ladies and gentlemen, Joe Franklin saying good morning, good program. I tell you, we're going to have a blockbuster. This is a brand new edition of the all dancing, all talking, all singing Joe Franklin show. I want to tell you what came in the mail today. It came from a man named Albert Boland. Mr. Boland is the organizer of the Bing Crosby Remembrance Society. He sent me an original 1939 framed photograph hung in the lobby of the Paramount Theater on Broadway. Many decades. More about this soon, but as I said, it hung in the studio in the lobby of the Paramount Theater a lot of decades ago, maybe a lot of generations ago, 1939. More about the society as the days and weeks go on. I want to tell you about today's show, though, if I may. And everybody in the studio here wants to talk with one certain lady. When movie stars were movie stars, there was one glamorous, one enchanting lady. She became known, I guess, if you want to look at the picture on the back of the cover, as the Scream Queen. She was the most sizzling and gorgeous, and still is the most dazzling heroine in the movies, Fay Wray, author of a brand new book called On the Other Hand. On the Other Hand, of course, means the other hand of King Kong. She's here today, and we're going to show a couple of clips and reminisce. Everybody wants to chat with Fay Wray. The program known as the Joe Franklin Show starts like this, and today's going to be, as we sometimes say, one for the archives, a blockbuster, and it starts like this. Stay with me. Be right back. Well, film buffs, and I know when I say film buffs, that means everybody. Before we meet the Hollywood legend, the charming and beautiful Fay Wray, I want to mention that there's a young man over there named Joby Rogers. Mr. Rogers heard me mention one time that Michael Jackson had been on our program 5 times as part of the Jackson family, the Jackson 5, I think they were called. And I mentioned how much I'd love to have him back, and Mr. Rogers got in touch with me, and he said to me that up until the time that Michael Jackson comes back, he will serve as his replacement. So I just want to tell you that today you're going to meet somebody with all the style, all the enthusiasm, all the enchantment of the original editions of those Jacksons. So you're going to be in for a real treat today. Isn't that so exciting?
Yes, I think so.
A very special, how often do you get one special lady who might want to do the honors and introduce another special lady? The special lady is named Charlotte Chandler, who might do the honors and introduce to our audience, as only you might do it. The lady that you brought to my studio today so kindly, how would you set the scene for a chat with Fay Wray, Charlotte?
Oh, well, it's a pleasure, but Fay doesn't need any introduction because King Kong and Fay are part of all of our lives. I remember when I was writing The Ultimate Seduction, Fay told me that she had no idea at the time she was making the picture that she and King Kong were going to spend the rest of their lives together.
Are you, Miss Wray, enjoying all the, even aside from King Kong, aside from anything, just the book and making the rounds, are you enjoying all the newfound excitement and adulation and rediscovery?
Wow, that's a big word, but it is a pleasure. It certainly is. I'm having a delightful time. It's wonderful to have the book so well accepted. You know, that delights me naturally.
Is that your very first book ever?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
But you've written plays and...
I've written a play, and sketches and short things and articles, but this is my first book, and I'm delighted to... I've had it in my thoughts to do for a long, long time, so to realize it and be able to give it with affection to the people who like movies.
Let me show this
with
feel
good.
Great affection one more time to the whole countryside. It's called On the Other Hand, a life story by Fay Wray, published by St. Martin's.
Yes.
And I've got the feeling you did your own writing. Most movie stars have a ghostwriter.
I wrote every word, and sometimes the periods too. I did the punctuation.
And the commas, and the question
And the
marks.
commas and everything. Yes, that's the only way I could have done it because I have such a pleasure in writing. It's one of my most creative experiences.
It's a non-cynical book. You don't, you're not bitter, you're happy.
very happy. I've enjoyed the time that I've spent in motion pictures, and why shouldn't I? I mean, it's too easy sometimes to find things to blame. I just don't believe in that. I want to be I'm an appreciator.
I would love
like
to
that.
show a 15-second clip before we get involved now. And I'm going to ask the noted film historian and archivist, Mr. Paul Mandell, maybe to do the narrating. A 15-second clip of the movie that saved, I mean, could we pretty securely say that King Kong saved a studio, if not most of Hollywood, when things were pretty close to bankruptcy?
I understand that it really did. It rescued. Rescued the studio.
You're very modest. It did more than that. It saved the whole movie business. Maybe a few seconds, ladies and gentlemen. Could have been 1933, Paul. Could have been 1930.
1933.
Paul, where's one of your? Paul Mandell, I might mention, by the way, is the gentleman who has done all the archive work on King Kong with laser discs and relasering and resavoring. Oh, there's the lady over there. But I would like to show maybe a few seconds of King Kong and ask Paul to tell us what we're watching. This is unrehearsed, spontaneous, and this is by way of setting the scene for a lady who made maybe 100 other great movies, but a little bit, or semi-great movies. And here's a little bit of the one that put Fay Wray on the map back in 1933.
Of course, this is the scene in Manhattan, just prior to the Empire State Building finale, where Kong is searching for any intruders. Well, there you go.
It's an incredible scene. Did you sort of keep a diary in those days when you were thinking that or hoping that someday you might write a book, Fay?
No, I never kept any diary.
All from recall.
Absolutely, from my memory. Mm-hmm.
And in those movies, that even though I wanted to play that silence so Paul could narrate, did you do your own shrieking, or did somebody dub in the screaming for you?
Listen, Joe.
Yes.
That's one of the best things I did,
Really?
apparently, was to scream.
You were the scream.
No, yes,
You were the scream queen.
Well, I don't really think that's the most wonderful title in the world, but it's true that I did the screaming.
And the fact that you made so many movies after that, I mean, and some of them good, some of them half good, but the one that people think about all the time is King Kong.
No doubt about that.
So you begin
yes.
the book with an open love letter to King Kong.
It is sort of a love letter, isn't it? Yes. I appreciate him.
How can we not ask you some of your other favorite leading men? I mean, tall, dark, handsome leading men that were not gorillas.
Well,
gorillas.
not in the movies, but in a play in New York. Cary Grant, he would fit that description, don't you think, very well. Tall, dark.
Handsome.
Handsome. This character wasn't so handsome, but Cary was.
I got to tell you that I knew Cary Grant. Cary Grant told me once that he was in a play with Fay Wray.
He told you about it.
But he was not the star. You were the star, but there was another man above him.
Oh, really?
Who could have been the other the leading man?
Douglas Montgomery?
Right.
Someone like that?
Douglas Montgomery, right.
But to me, Cary was a star. Oh, I thought he was so attractive. I always did think so.
What was Cary Grant's name in that play called Nicky?
Cary Lockwood. That's where he got his name.
Well, did you see the movie star potential in Cary Grant when you were working with him on the
Oh, yes.
You spotted that?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. He was enchanting. It was like he had a light inside him that just lit up when he talked to you, and his whole style was so easy and graceful, and he was a natural actor.
Now, there's a little bit of entertainment Americana. How many people know that Cary Grant, when he was in a Broadway show, was it a musical?
Yes.
He sang?
Yes.
With you?
We didn't do a duet, but otherwise, yes, you could say he sang with me in the show.
And his name then was not, was Archie...
Archie Leach.
Archie Leach. But how many people know that because he was called Cary in a
the
Broadway
play.
show with Fay Wray, he kept the name Cary when he went to the movies?
Yes, well, it seemed right for him. It just seemed right, and he was happy to keep it.
Cary Lockwood.
Cary Lockwood,
Became-
but that was too long.
Right.
So the people in the studio thought that if he should have any success, that a shorter name would be more convenient.
Ladies and gentlemen, I am chatting with Fay Wray, who is entertainment Americana, and she is brighter and bubblier now than ever. I went to a screening with Charlotte Chandler last week of a movie with Paul Mandell. Paul, you got to tell our friends what we saw the other night and how we enjoyed it.
Excuse me, we saw The Mystery of the Wax Museum with Fay Wray and Lionel Atwill, directed by Michael Curtiz, in two-strip glorious Technicolor. And
1933.
1933.
Michael Curtiz later on directed Yankee Doodle Dandy and Casablanca, but he...
Yes. He did, indeed.
Which is phenomenal when you think about it, because he was a Hungarian immigrant, and he directed all these various genre movies, musicals, horror films, detective mysteries. Phenomenal man.
When you broke Lionel Atwill's face and showed the scars underneath,
That was a horrible thing to have
scared
to
you
do.
too?
It
Scared you?
scared me so that when I hit it and this wax mask fell off, and saw this terrible, grotesque scarring underneath, I just froze. I couldn't move. And Michael Curtiz was back here, back of the camera, and he said, "Oh, you should have hit it until it all came off so we could see the whole thing." And so we had to do it over. And then I was able to do it technically, but just at first it was just too much. Just a shocker.
I am going down movie memory lane with the shocker named Fay Wray. We chatted here the other day with Patricia Neal, who spoke
yes.
at great length about her love affair with Gary Cooper.
Yes,
now, in your book, you didn't find Gary Cooper that exciting.
Well, not that. No, not that exciting. I didn't. I thought he was a dear person, and he was just wonderful to look at, and he had the most lovely long lashes and a wonderful smile, and but he was just kind of he felt lazy.
Kind of sleepy. Fell asleep on the set.
He did.
And didn't talk much when he wasn't.
No.
And dozed off between the takes more.
That's right, he did. Most of the time, not all the time. I don't want to exaggerate.
Once in a while.
Yes.
How could we not ask Fay Wray, who made movies opposite almost? I mean, I could give how many name a few, because after you name a few of the leading men, I want to ask you maybe some ambition about a leading man you would have loved to work with, but didn't have the opportunity to work with. So you give us
In
one.
a movie, that would be Cary Grant.
That's the one you never had.
No,
On the screen,
I would
I mean.
love to
Right.
to have done a movie with him.
Right.
But I tried to arrange that, but I wasn't successful. Can you imagine someone refusing him? A studio actually did that before he got started. But I worked with Spencer Tracy, who was just really a tremendously fine actor and so natural that you didn't know he was acting.
I don't think that Ralph Bellamy or Jack Holt or Richard Arlen, et cetera, could have made a movie without you. That's all I think. I think that.
Oh, you think? You look at it that way. Well, it seems so because I did about 4 with each of them, didn't I? Or you know better than I do.
Seems to me like dozens. You must have made many movies at one time.
I did.
Really?
Well, not at one time.
No.
No, I made movie after movie consecutively,
Each one taking about how many weeks, roughly?
Well, in 1932 and 33, I think, I was beginning a movie every 4th Friday.
I am
Yes,
chatting
think of
with
that.
a lady I wish I could talk with every other Friday. Her name is Fay Wray. Let me get a feeling from Charlotte Chandler, then a feeling from Paul Mandell. Then we're going to show you a little bit of the big question is, have you been to the Empire State Building recently? The answer is, I think so, huh?
Yes, absolutely.
What was the
and
occasion?
Enjoyed it. It was a book party for my book, on the other hand, and what an ideal place to have a party for that. It was great.
What an emotion, huh?
Whoa, yes.
What a
it was
feeling.
wonderful.
Charlotte, what do you want to ask us? I'm chatting with the noted film historian and author of Hello, I Must Be Going, the Groucho Marx book, and so many good books, and the lady who got me together with Fay Wray. In fact, I lent Fay Wray a picture which got into the book,
Yes.
right?
Yes, and I was there when that happened. That was a thrilling moment. Faye's brought it along
Is this the picture?
because it's a truly great
Is this the
That's
one?
the picture.
Here
One
it
of
is.
the most
And
beautiful
here,
pictures I've ever seen.
let's see, here
Here
it
it
is
is in the book.
Larger size. This is the original one
Right.
that you had kept.
Right.
And when you showed it to Charlotte and me on an earlier occasion, we both said, oh, that's nice.
There is the
We did
original
like
line.
it. That was so nice
And
of you to...
then you gave it to Faye, Joe.
I'm
Yes,
thrilled that
yes.
my book, my picture wound up in Fay Wray's
It
book.
really
and
did.
I
It
couldn't be
certainly
happier.
did.
Charlotte, what do you want to ask or say of the charming lady as we set up the film clip?
Oh, well, it was a wonderful experience seeing her films, especially films like not just King Kong, but The Wedding March, which I always loved before I knew her, and now it's been wonderful knowing her. And the other day we were at the Empire State Building together. On the way in the car, I called it Faye's tree.
Yes, my tree. What a way to speak of the Empire State Building. It's indestructible, though, that building, I think.
It is indeed, and of course it lives forever.
Fay, a
now
little
in
bit
King
on
Kong.
your vitality, your energy, a little bit aside from movies. How do you...
How do I? Just enthusiasm, I think. That's it, yes. I enjoy everything.
Optimistic.
Oh, very, very.
Never cranky, never grouchy.
Yes,
Once in a while.
Yes, but I wouldn't let you know that.
Not today. Mr. Mandell, you're the expert. What do you want to ask or say about the lady, or any little-known facts or figures on the lady or the movie?
Well, just allow me to say at first that I guess it was inevitable that I would be here with Miss Fay Wray. I mean, I represent probably thousands and thousands of kids who grew up in the 50s who saw King Kong on Channel 9, right on this network here on WOR.
On the $1 Million Movie.
On the $1 Million Movie, 3 times a day, 6 nights a week.
Right.
And I've never been the same since. It's just a wonderful movie. No, I don't think any other Hollywood movie ever produced the same kind of mythic underpinnings that King Kong produced.
What do you figure, Fay, it cost to produce King Kong?
I understand it cost $680,000, which isn't really very much.
What would that cost today? A movie like that today, Paul Mandell?
Well, actually, I have the budget on it. The actual negative cost without the overhead was $512,000, which is a phenomenal.
Let me take a wild guess. Let me take a wild guess. Today would cost $200 million.
At least.
At least.
Oh, no.
200
That ratio can't be.
Did you see the remake of King Kong with Jessica Lange?
No, I didn't.
Purposely didn't go to see it?
No, I didn't see it because they had sent me this script thinking that I might associate myself with it in some way. And I was disappointed in what they'd done with it. So
Really?
Yes, I thought they lost the whole legendary feeling of it, and I didn't want to see it.
Dino De Laurentiis movie. I think. Let me see the photograph you got there, Paul. I want to.
Sure.
This is something little
Want me to
known.
hand it to you?
Right.
Well, this is at the Telluride Film Expo in 1976, where Miss Ray was a guest with many of the other King Kong veterans.
Wow.
And that particular model of King Kong was built by an animator named David Allen, who animated it for a Volkswagen commercial.
And what have you got alongside you there? The
And here is a very behind-the-scenes type shot. Which
In the
was
water.
In the water.
Richard Arlen and Fay Wray in the water.
No, Bruce Cabot.
I'm sorry, Bruce Cabot.
right.
Bruce Cabot, but not from the movie.
Between takes.
Between takes.
Yes.
You could see the smile on Bruce's
Yes.
face. I guess he was enjoying it.
We were really scared, but
Were you
they were
enjoying it?
laughing about it.
You were enjoying it too, right?
Apparently.
A little bit of what happened the other day at the party at the Empire State. But of course, the last line of the movie was "Beauty that killed the Beast." Is that one of the all-time classic last lines in movies? Would you say, Fay? That's.
Yeah, I think so. I think so.
I think that's more famous than the last line of "Gone with the Wind," right?
I would think so.
I think so. Tomorrow's another day. A little bit now of what happened the other day at the party, and some more people want to come in and chat with Fay Wray. We're honoring On the Other Hand. And what's happening now, Miss Ray?
Well, oh, suddenly a gorilla. Oh,
How are you?
I'm pretty fine.
Well, I heard that you were here.
you want me to be talking over this?
Why not?
All right. Well, this was presented because it was sent by a wonderful screen curator of the Museum of Los Angeles County Museum, and he sent a note with it saying, "From your other ardent admirer." That's Ron Haver, and he's terrific.
I am an ardent admirer of a terrific lady named Fay Wray, and I want to say it again that everybody in our studio here wants to have a few words with Fay. I wanted to bring a few of our friends to meet Fay Wray following these words. This is kind of a book launching party for a new book called On the Other Hand. Let me tell you, firsthand, it's going to be a very important book. We shall return following these words. The big party is only just beginning. Stay with me. We are chatting today, honoring a new book called On the Other Hand. We're chatting with Fay Wray. It's a book launching party. I think I might show you a couple little scenes from the archives of Paul Mandell. These were the original 1933 advertisements for the movie called King Kong. There is our star of stars. There is the technical crew, and there is one of the sequences, just when they thought everything was nice and cozy and quiet in that bedroom. And there is another one of the original advertisements from 1933 from the Radio City Music Hall program as it appeared that year. If you went to see the picture, you got that photograph as part of your advertisement in the program. Fay, people would love to know how you spend your time nowadays, and we know you're happily married to a doctor. I met him, And
Yes.
how do you divide the time and stuff like that? And do you,
Well, essentially, all the extra time I've been writing, and I think I will continue to do that. But we travel. We spend some time in California, some time in New York, and then we go to Europe once a year. So life is very interesting, and he's a very enthusiastic, a pleasant, wonderful guy.
Dr. Rothenberg,
Yes, Dr. Sanford Rothenberg, that's
Good
his
man.
name. Yes, he is.
neurologist. What do you say, Charlotte?
Faye's first fan,
Faye's
Sandy
first fan. Do
Rothenberg.
you still get
He's
fan
wonderful.
mail? Still get fan mail, Faye?
From the doctor?
No, from fans. From the doctor every morning.
Sure, I do. I get fan mail. I do get fan mail.
Try
from
and
him.
answer it sometimes. Is it,
But no, I never answer it.
It's
I
hard.
just say thank you.
you just appreciate it, right?
I do appreciate it.
Were
yes.
you the first choice for King Kong? Were you? Or was anyone?
Yes, I think there was some little expression of the possibility of Jean Harlow doing it at one point, but I don't think that was really very serious because I'd done a film with Marion Cooper, and he really did want me to do it, and he would have asked me immediately if I'd had blonde hair, but then he realized that there were some wigs around, and one pretty good one, so he didn't really, I think, suffer long over looking for anyone else.
And there was one pretty good screamer and shrieker named Fay Wray.
Well, he didn't know that at the
didn't know
time,
that.
no.
He found out. The whole
he
world
found
found
out.
out. Ladies and gentlemen, we're chatting with one of the most glamorous figures of any era. Her name is Fay Wray. We're sitting here with Charlotte Chandler, who made it happen for me today. I got so many exciting people who want to join our panel, and I'm delighted to have them join in with the questioning. One of them is one of the busiest new young faces on TV. This man is really getting what they call total saturation, total exposure, morning, noon, and night. His name is Monty Hoffman. Monty, can we
Thanks,
say
Joe.
welcome?
This is a pleasure being on the show. And when I'm sitting here with Faye, I feel like I should be doing this. You know?
Pretty good imitation.
Isn't that great? I've been practicing that back there all day for you. But this is great meeting you and be on with Joe. And then I got the new gorilla movie out with the Gorillas in the Mist. Did you see?
I haven't seen that. I
Well,
must
it's a
be.
documentary about my family.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. So,
Well, then I guess you look at it over and over again, don't you?
hey, you want to be a team?
Sure.
Let's get working again.
How'd you like to know that Fay Wray later on made movies like Drag Strip Riot and Summer Love? You blush when you hear those names, Fay?
Well, those were not of a muchness. No, not really.
Are you a movie fan, Mr. Hoffman?
Oh, of course. I love the movies. I always watch all the old movies. That's
Any
what-
recollections of the first time you might have seen King Kong on the movie screen?
Well, just like the gentleman earlier was saying, we used to watch on WOR, you know, the $1 Million Movie.
How about any flash reaction of Jackie Cooper,
Mm-hmm.
Wallace Beery, or George Raft? Then I'll show the scene. Anything
to say about them?
Right.
Well, Jackie Cooper was so cute. He just stuck his little lower lip out, and he was just adorable. George Raft was a very gentle person. Wallace Beery was kind of a tough guy, I think. Well, they were just a wonderful assortment, and I enjoyed very much doing that film.
Jackie
really.
was kind of huggable, right?
Oh, he was. He was just beguiling little fellow.
Did you hug him?
No, I didn't. I just didn't think I ought to do that, Joe.
This lady has put into her book a little. We got. This is the honest era, the candid era. People like to hear about a little scandal. Not scandal, but you're very honest about some of the people that you enjoyed being with in those days, right, Faye? You got to put that in books nowadays.
Well, now you're suggesting that there's an Italian. You better repeat that.
But you were married to most of them. Yes or no?
Well, I think you got this all a little. We have to go over this one. Yes, I was married. I was married to John Monk Saunders. He was a writer.
He wrote Wings,
Yes, he wrote Wings.
first movie to win the Academy Award.
That's right. Now, there's nothing scandalous
No,
about that.
no.
Much. I mean, there were difficulties, but not scandal.
Right.
Then I was married to Robert Riskin, who was
wrote It
also
Happened
a
One Night?
wonderful writer. He wrote It Happened One Night. He wrote Mr. Deeds Goes to Town. And I had a brief romance with another fine writer, Clifford Odets, which was of not very long duration. So I don't see that there's any real scandal here,
And
Joe.
one more famous author was infatuated with you or by
Oh,
you.
yes, Sinclair Lewis.
Right.
Yes, that he was under the illusion that he was in love, and I think he made a mistake, but he was a brilliant man, just
But
the same.
he was madly, Charlotte, passionately, desperately, maniacally in love with Fay Wray, was Sinclair Lewis, right or wrong?
Well, I don't know.
Got to read about it. Got to read about it in the
I
book,
think you
right?
have to read the book on the other hand.
I want to see. Oh, I started to show the scene, my friends, from the Bowery. And here we see Fay Wray. And you didn't scream much in that picture, right? You didn't scream too many times in that movie.
No, I didn't, Joe. Gee, we'll have to do it over.
That's a nice hat there, Fay. I like that hat.
Isn't that nice?
That's a beauty.
I like that little hat.
Little bow tie, you look cute.
Yeah,
Very
that's
pretty.
a nice picture.
Very pretty. Fay Wray is such a musical name. It's a poem. Was your name then Fay Wray?
Yes, it was always Fay Wray. My father named me Fay because he just liked that name, and he didn't mean to make a poem of it, I don't suppose, but it's pleasant and easy to remember, Joe, right?
Very. Hey, how come, when they did the movie, I mean, later, they cut out the parts when they were eating the people, when the King Kong was eating the people and stepping on
When
them?
did he do that?
Remember in the beginning of the movie, he was grabbing like the natives and eating them and stepping on them. And then I saw a version. I saw the version of that years later. Like when I was a kid watching on WOR, they never showed that.
Yes.
King Kong like
Did you
trampling.
like that? Did you want him to keep that in?
Yeah.
Well, I hear whatever they took out, they put back now,
Yeah,
so you
right.
got a chance to see it.
And it's been colorized,
Yeah.
for better or worse.
For better or worse, I don't
I
know.
think for worse.
Worse.
I want to tell you, I
agree.
used to do a show on Sunday nights, Charlotte, on WOR-TV. Now it's WWOR-TV. Then it was called WOR, and we called the show When Movies Were Movies. I was the host. Remember that show vaguely? And
Yeah.
and Steven
Vaguely.
Spielberg and Peter Bogdanovich used to go out and write me my notes. They would write me my notes. They would go down and buy me coffee and write me my notes on a piece of paper. And the night that we showed King Kong, we got like 110 rating. We got a higher rating than there are people living in the
That's
world.
more people than there are.
In the world.
Yes. Oh, that's
So
very good
it's got to
to
be
hear.
the most highly rated movie in the whole history of the world, King Kong.
That's good.
Make that sound one more time. Ladies and gentlemen, a busy lady, a great, great lady. And when you want to, just the list of Fay Wray movies alone in the back of the book is worth the price of admission, right, Charlotte?
It certainly is.
13 years old, and you were already opposite a couple of cowboys.
Yes, 16 when I started.
16.
When I first came to California, I was 14 and just did a few bit parts. And there's a cute little picture. Well, don't look
Find
for
it,
it.
find it. I wanna show it.
There's a cute little picture of me doing a Charleston in a clown suit. But I'll continue telling you about when I was 16, I started working with cowboys, and I did two reelers and four reelers, and then by the time I was 18, I was doing a big feature, wasn't I? The Wedding March. Oh, here's a cowboy with me.
Hoot Gibson. Got to be Hoot Gibson.
There's
right?
got to be Hoot Gibson. Is that what I should do?
Yeah,
Like
got to be
that?
Hoot Gibson, right.
How am I doing?
Fay
as
Wray, you're doing great.
Technically.
No, you're doing great.
All right. Now here's another technical thing. Oh, this is the one I want you to see.
Right.
Now, how would you like to have had that for your first part, Joe?
And that was
First
a
little
movie.
bit. Is it off this? Is it on the screen?
It's on.
All right.
With the funny
Now
hat.
you can have it back.
Let's see what it says. Let's see what it says. Okay, we're going to make this very, very official. These glasses, of course, have no glass in them. It's only a prop. It's only a prop. No real. My first bit part in Hollywood at the Century Comedy Studio, I improvised a clown dance and think I'm just wonderful.
I
Sweet
thought I
16, huh?
14.
14.
There, about 14 there.
Faye, I could only say that I'm going to treasure this interview. I want to preserve the film. I'm going to bring it up every 1,000 years and show it. And if King Kong were here right now,
Let me come back.
If King Kong
share
were
it
here
with
right
you,
now.
will you? Every 1,000 years.
Promise?
What?
you know, when Johnny Weissmuller was here, I asked him. He did the yell for us. He did the
yeah?
Tarzan yell.
Yeah,
I can't
yeah.
ask you to do any screaming today, right?
You certainly can. You could ask, but
you-
I'd refuse.
I want you to rest your voice.
Yes.
You're busy. Meanwhile, my friends, have a good day and a good night, a good weekend, and on the other hand, enjoy yourself.